Assalamu alaikum YouTube. This is Said Mirza, and today I wanted to talk about the three Abrahamic religions as they are referred to, the religion of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And the reason I wanted to talk about these three religions is because I recently had a thought about the symbols that these religions take and what those symbols mean. Now, a saying attributed to a Chinese philosopher by the name of Confucius goes something like this: symbols rule the world. And this is absolutely true. If you have downloaded my work or gone through it a little bit, you might have noticed that in the front cover picture, I depict the obelisk, which is usually known as the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. And right in the middle, I put the text Tyranny 2.0 because that obelisk is a symbol of the tyranny that we are currently under. And this is an old symbol. These same obelisks are still standing in Egypt. In the tyranny of the pharaohs, they use these obelisks to signify their dominion. And these obelisks were imported to various countries across many centuries, and this is all verifiable. Now, if you want more information on this, you can download my work and go through it, because I think it's very important that we understand that we are living in a system which uses symbols to represent itself, and that we need to understand the meanings behind these symbols, because the people who control the narrative, who are the manipulators of the minds of men, they definitely understand the power of these symbols, and they use them quite blatantly. Now, coming back to the three religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they all claim to be following the tradition of Prophet Abraham, and they say that they are following in their footsteps. And if you look closely at the three religions, let's look at the religion of Judaism, which is the oldest of the three cults. We find that they take the star as their symbol, and usually the story is that the star is the Star of David. Okay, might be, but still the question is, why use a star? In the case of Christianity, they use the cross as a symbol. And if you actually look at this cross, you will find that this cross is actually not representing a cross. This symbol represents the sun. And again, I do encourage everyone to verify what I'm saying here. You can find this information on your own. But again, because sun worship is an old cult, this symbol was used for the sun. Now, in the case of Islam, you have the crescent moon as a symbol. And no one really tells you why the religion of Islam is using the crescent moon as a symbol. And this crescent moon is usually displayed atop the masjids, the mosques, and it's also prominently displayed on the clock tower in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. So obviously the people who are constructing these monuments are aware that the crescent moon is a symbol, and they're probably aware as to why it's a symbol for the religion of Islam. And the reason that these symbols were taken by these religions is because at the heart, these religions are the worship of celestial bodies, and they are not following in the footsteps of Prophet Abraham, because Prophet Abraham turned away from the worship of everything, and he only worshipped the Creator. And in this regard, I wanted to recite to you a passage from the Qur'an which will drive home the point. And this is from my book Tyranny 2.0. It's my own translation, but you're free to look at any translation. This is chapter 6, verses 74 through 83. To begin. And when Abraham said to his father Azar, "Do you take idols for gods? I see you and your people in clear error. And thus did we show Abraham the kingdom of the skies and the land, that he might be of those having certainty. When the night covered him, he saw a planet. He said, 'This is my Lord.' But when it set, he said, 'I love not the setters.' And when he saw the moon rising, he said, 'This is my Lord.' But when it set, he said, 'Unless my Lord guides me, I shall be of the erring people.' And when he saw the sun rising, he said, This is my Lord, this is greater. But when it set, he said, O my people, I am free from that you make partners. I have turned my face to him who split the skies and the land, natural monotheism, and I am not of the makers of partners. And his people argued with him. He said, Do you argue with me about God when he has guided me? And I do not fear what you make partners with him, save that my Lord should will anything. My Lord embraces all things in knowledge. Will you not reflect? And how should I fear what you have made partners when you do not fear having made partners with God, that for which he has not sent down upon you any authority? So which of the two factions has more right to security, if you should know? Those who believe and do not mix their belief with wrongdoing, theirs is security, and they are guided. And that is our argument which we gave to Abraham against his people. We raise up in degrees whom we will. Your Lord is wise, knowing. So these were chapter 6, verses 74 through 83. And I encourage you to look at other translations too, because I have translated the Arabic word. When the night covered him, he saw a planet, but usually it's translated as a star. So we have here Prophet Abraham rejecting the worship of the planet, star, or the sun, or the moon, so all celestial bodies. And it is quite interesting that the three religions, the three cults who claim to be following Prophet Abraham's tradition, take these three celestial bodies as their symbols. Because at the end of the day, the religions, all they do is they serve to deviate men from the path of God and get them into worshipping the religion itself. If you have followed Brother Garen's work, you know that he has a similar viewpoint on this, and he backs it up with the Qur'an, a complete revelation. Because the fact of the matter is that what these people have done is that they have broken the true faith, the deen of God, into sects, and each party is exulting with what it has. And if you want to know what the true faith in the Quran is, then I suggest you download my work, Tyranny 2.0, because I have endeavored to explain it in a very concise manner using the Quranic verses themselves. Because subscription to any religion, cult, or organization will not save us on the day of judgment. God willing, until the next video, peace and blessings be upon you.